The most recent rookie class of 2023 has been heavily overshadowed in the media by Victor Wembanyama, but this class still has multiple other rookies that have been making a name for themselves in their own right. So I'm gonna talk about some of those players that have stood out to me personally. This video isn't based on stats whatsoever, just players that I've been watching with my own eyes. There are several players with a ton of potential that I could easily make a part 2. But the first player I'm going to talk about is obviously Chet Holmgren, who was the second pick in the 2022 draft. He literally broke his foot in a meaningless Pro-Am game against LeBron, which caused him to miss the entirety of last season. So this qualifies him to Ben Simmons his way to this year's Rookie of the Year award, and so far it looks like he might. In his first 15 games of his career, Chet's been averaging 18 points, 8 rebounds, and 2.5 assists a game. He's shooting over 50% from the field, but is also shooting 46% from 3 as a 7-footer. Before all the hype with Wembanyama came around, Chet was supposed to be the next big thing in the NBA. He's a center that can play like a small forward. He's got a decent handle along with the ability to score in so many different ways. And with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the team, he's open even more than he should be. Shai has become a superstar at this point and the main focus for every defense, which opens up the floor for literally everybody else. So for Chet, it's kind of a perfect situation. He fills a role that OKC needed filled and gets more scoring opportunities than almost anybody in this video. And although he's extremely skinny, he still ranks as one of the top shot blockers in the entire league. His 36-point game against the Warriors in their own arena showed people exactly who he is. Not only was he dominating the entire game, but he also hit the shot to send the game into overtime where they eventually got the win. The Rookie of the Year race will most likely come down to him or Wembanyama, and so far Chet has given himself a very good shot. But the next player on this list is Detroit Piston Ausar Thompson, who is already, as a rookie, one of the best defenders in the entire NBA. He's been solid offensively, but on defense is where he truly shines. As of right now, he's 10th in blocks per game and 6th in total blocks on the entire season. And did I mention he's 6'7"? He has more steals than anybody in the rookie class, and the only people that have more total blocks are Chet Holmgren and Wembanyama, who are both 7-footers. To make his defensive stats look even more impressive, he's also averaging a steal a game along with his blocks. But I'm still not done yet. On top of everything I've already mentioned, he's averaging 11 points and 10 rebounds a game. That puts him 12th in rebounds per game out of the entire league at 6'7". Everyone else on the list is literally a center. Obviously, some of these numbers are going to change over the course of the season or even by the time you're watching this video, but still, 15 games in, these numbers are wild. Ausar can score the ball, but his athleticism is what takes him to the next level, and all of his defensive stats back it up. He's one of the very few players that can truly guard 1 through 5. If this continues for the rest of the season, which I really think it will, then he will soon be one of the top defenders in the entire league. But next is Mavericks center Dereck Lively, who's made a big impact on the team from the start of the very first game. His numbers aren't crazy, but he does all of the little things and is always in the right place at the right time. Usually when you say someone's in the right place at the right time, it's luck. But Lively has turned that saying into an actual skill. He's exactly where he needs to be when guys like Kyrie and Luka need him. Because they have so much scoring power, he doesn't really even need to be a scorer, just a guy to get rebounds and do everything else. He is a pure team player and is an absolute monster on the boards. He's also the exact guy you want setting screens for your top playmakers, and this single clip shows exactly what he can do. He tips the rebound to Tim Hardaway Jr., who misses, but it doesn't matter because again, he's right there for the putback. Dereck Lively does stuff like this all the time, and if you just watch the games, he stands out a ton. So far, he's averaging 8 points, 8 rebounds, and a block a game, which doesn't sound too crazy, but he's only averaging 24 minutes. He's been doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing and will only get more minutes in the future. But next is Miami Heat's Jaime Jaquez Jr. He's been playing extremely well and has already seen an increase in minutes. Even while coming off the bench, he's had multiple really good games, and the more he plays, the better he gets. Jaquez Jr. is one of the grittiest players on this list, and I don't know if this makes sense to you, but he's the most Miami Heat player ever. He just fits their culture and mold perfectly. He's a great defender and can produce on offense as well. Right now, he's averaging 10.5 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal a game in just 25 minutes. On top of that, he's shooting over 50% from the field and over 40% from 3. He's another guy that's a pure team player. His footwork, patience, and IQ is literally off the charts for a rookie, which makes sense because he did just get done playing 4 years at UCLA, so he's not a one-and-done rookie by any means. Most 4-year players go undrafted, but Jaime is very different than most 4-year college players. And playing with Jimmy Butler, who's about the same size and position, is going to do nothing but take his game to another level. He was a steal at the 18th pick and is going to be another key guy in the Heat's core that seems to only be growing. He's just now starting to let loose, so I expect his numbers to only rise as the season continues, and he's got a safe spot in the rotation for the rest of the year. But the next player I want to talk about is the 2nd overall pick, Brandon Miller. A lot of fans were saying that the Hornets should have drafted Scoot Henderson even though they already had his position filled because he was supposed to be the better player. But Scoot has been struggling with the Blazers while Brandon Miller has been playing really well with the Hornets. He started the season coming off the bench but was putting up such good numbers that the team had no other choice but to start him. In 13 games, he's averaging almost 14 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists a game, which is really solid knowing they have several guys that can score the ball pretty well. They have been dealing with injuries, drama, and chaos, but that hasn't mattered for Brandon Miller at all. He's a go-to scorer, but can also make things happen for his teammates. He knows how to create his own shot, and when he's making his shots, then he's making everything. Brandon scored 22 points in his 3rd game ever and already has a career high of 29, which is higher than a lot of players that have been in the league for a few years. Plus, he's a great defender on a team that needs people to step up on defense. Like a few players I've already mentioned, his minutes and role will continue to increase as the season goes on because it already has. The team doesn't have a very good record right now, but they are building a very solid core that should be really good in the coming years. I really could see LaMelo and Brandon Miller being almost a dynamic duo in the future. But next is the Washington Wizards' Bilal Coulibaly, who if you didn't know actually played with Victor Wembanyama over in France. I remember watching them play and kinda knew Bilal was going to be really good in the NBA. And what's even crazier is he started the season off with their youth team and didn't even join Wemby until halfway through this season. And on top of that, he was a starter by the time the playoffs came around for them. He's already an elite defender just 15 games into the season and has proved he's a very quick learner. The Wizards already have guys that love to shoot the ball. What they didn't have was someone that can come in and lock up the opposing team's best player. He's averaging almost a steal and a block per game while only playing 25 minutes a night. He doesn't shoot the ball very much, but when he does, it's usually a good shot and it usually goes in. He has a ton of potential and will only get better as he gets more minutes and trust from the team. Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole either look really good or look like the Trash Brothers. They have such an inconsistent offense, so it's really hard to tell if Coulibaly is making a mistake or he's just being set up for failure. There's more room for him to improve on offense than defense, but I'm excited to see what he can turn into, and I know French fans are very proud. But because this video is getting kinda long, the last person I'm gonna talk about has to be Victor Wembanyama. Although he does get a ton of hype from the media, a lot of it is warranted. He's 3rd in total blocks in the season and is 3rd in blocks per game. As a rookie, he's already being talked about for Defensive Player of the Year. That's pretty insane. It makes sense though because he is literally 7'4". Right now, he's averaging 19 points, 9.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2.6 blocks, and a steal a game. Those numbers are actually insane, especially when you factor in half of his teammates look like they came straight out of the local YMCA. I can't even begin to tell you how many times he is wide open and his teammates just don't see him. They have a few good players that have been playing better than I thought they would, but still, the losing streak they're on right now says it all. The only thing stopping Wembanyama from being even better though is himself. His shot selection is kinda garbage. Some games are better than others, but he definitely settles for jump shots rather than trying to score in the paint. I mean, he's 7'4" and he's shooting 43% from the field. I'm pretty sure that's worse than anyone I've mentioned in this video. But again, his team hasn't been helping him out very much, and he's also a rookie, so I'm sure things will be different. The things he can do on the court are actually unreal. He just has to combine them with better fundamentals and he'll be just fine. But that's everyone I'm going to mention in this video. I might have to make a part 2 though because of how many rookies are playing well. There's still guys like Keontae George, Marcus Sasser, Jordan Hawkins, and several more players that deserve a mention. For now though, let me know in the comments which rookie has surprised you the most. Leave a like on the video to support the channel and subscribe for more basketball videos just like this one.